In Hong Kong, Agent Lin drives while speaking with his daughter's doctor, who explains that her leukemia has worsened and she might not survive tonight's procedure. Lin promises to be there soon and speeds up, dodging cars and even driving on the sidewalk to avoid traffic. He soon gets a call from Agent Susan about an issue with witness protection. Dr. James, a geneticist who recently defected after working for an arms dealer on biochemical weapons, killed everyone in the lab, including the arms dealer. James is now hiding with a mechanical heart, and his location has been leaked, so he needs to be moved to a military base. Lin wants to decline, but accepts due to national security, turning his car around to complete the mission instead of going to his dying daughter. Meanwhile, James is injected with something that causes hallucinations, making him barely responsive when the agents arrive to move him and the heart. The team sneaks around the buildings to stay safe, but their truck suddenly explodes as they reach the vehicle. A small robot causes another car to explode, and soon, someone opens fire, killing the agents one by one. The attackers are a squad of soldiers in black armor, led by Andre, who tries to shoot James, but Lin saves him just in time. The gunfight continues, but the enemy's armor is too strong. Andre blows up another car, leaving the agents with no cover. Lin is shot in the shoulder but tells Susan to take James while he stays to fight. Another agent throws a flash grenade, allowing Lin to save a fellow agent, but the agent gets shot anyway. The remaining team members try to escape with James, but Andre blocks their way with another explosion. The agent carrying the heart is shot, and the group loses the heart. Lin keeps shooting and tries to run, but Andre blows up another truck, sending them flying back. Lin shoots a special net at an enemy, and another agent jumps at him, but is shot down. Agents and soldiers fight hand to hand, and Lin tries to stop them, but he is shot before Andre causes one last explosion, winning the fight. Andre then shoots the guards moving James, and Susan tries to fight him with her knife, showing great martial arts skills while James crawls toward the container. Andre overpowers Susan and chokes her before throwing her against the wall, knocking her out. As Andre approaches James to ask for the container, Lin crashes a car into Andre, pinning him against an oil tank. Sadly, Andre is still alive and starts pushing the car back, even lifting it, while Lin keeps shooting him. When the bullets have no effect, Lin shoots the oil tank instead, causing a massive explosion that takes them both down. Lin spits blood, thinking of his daughter, who is now flatlining at the hospital. He passes out, and the doctor's call is picked up by James. 13 years later, in Australia, writer Rick releases a book titled Bleeding Steel about an American Marine with a mechanical heart and blood carrying old memory. That evening, a woman shows up at Rick's building, and the security guards get too handsy before letting her pass. The woman offers Rick a show while secretly sedating him with alcohol. Once he's asleep, she reveals herself as Lyson in disguise, a hacker who came to steal information from Rick's computer. At the same time, Andre's men, led by the general, attack the guards, killing one and chasing the other upstairs, where he is murdered with a knife outside Rick's room. Lyson hears the noise and hides, stabbing Rick to wake him up and demanding to know where he got the inspiration for his book. At first, Rick refuses, so Lyson electrocutes his head while a soldier searches the safe. Suddenly, a masked warrior bursts through the window, fighting the soldier. The masked man overpowers the general and knocks her out, then interrogates Rick, who admits he stole the story and that the original files are on his laptop. The general wakes up and attacks again, killing Rick. The masked man dodges her blade and uses the laptop as a shield. After exchanging hits, the man puts an explosive on the computer before handing it to her. The general notices and throws it at the ceiling, destroying the lights. She then sees the man is gone and hears police sirens, so she escapes by jumping through the window and landing on a car. Lyson, who was hiding in the bathtub, steals a memory stick from the computer, takes some things from the safe, and picks up pieces of the broken laptop before escaping through the back door. The masked man, revealed to be Lin, goes home to treat his wounds. He hears on the news that Rick was believed to have been killed during a robbery, with Lyson as the prime suspect due to security footage. The next day, the general brings hacked footage to Andre, who runs software that identifies the masked man as Lin. The general also tracks Lyson's disguise purchases. Meanwhile, Lyson fixes Rick's computer pieces and finds files about a young student named Nancy, who grew up in an orphanage, Just then, the general and her men burst into the address they found, but the costume is just a joke, and Lyson watches everything through a camera. When the general leaves, she's seen by another camera set up by Lynn. Moments later, Lyson sneaks into a local college to watch Nancy from afar. Lynn is there, pretending to be a cafeteria worker. When Nancy bumps into a chair, the girl sitting there insults her, and Nancy punches her, starting a fight as students record on their phones. Lynn and Lyson help separate the girls before a guard arrived. Nancy walks away, noticing a wound on her hand healing quickly. Lyson follows her, trying to befriend her, but she ignores him. That night, Nancy has nightmares involving Andre and a strange experiment. Her roommate wakes her up, reminding her that these nightmares happen every night and suggesting she seek help. The next day, Nancy visits a spiritualist, explaining that her nightmares feel real. The spiritualist's assistant secretly records everything as the spiritualist puts Nancy to sleep. In her nightmares, Nancy sees James experimenting on a lizard that regrows its tail. Andre, on a stretcher, keeps rejecting organs, so James considers giving up on him. A furious Andre starts killing the doctors, and in real life, Nancy struggles to breathe. Panicking, the lights flicker, and the spiritualist stabs her chest with a needle, waking her up. Once Nancy calms down, so do the lights. The spiritualist tells her there's another soul inside her and gives her a flyer promoting a hypnotist who may help. After Nancy leaves, the spiritualist tells her assistant that Rick was probably killed because of the tape she sold him. On her way out, Nancy is surrounded by creepy guys who won't take no for an answer. She kicks one in the groin and runs, but the others chase her and eventually corner her at their gang's hangout spot. Suddenly, Lyson hits one guy with a bat, knocking him out, so the gang turns on him. A clumsy fight ensues, and Lyson's pants catch fire, dropping when he removes his belt to use as a weapon. Nancy sprays a guy's eyes with paint to distract them and drags Lyson away. They run through a building and lock the door behind them, trapping the gang. Nancy again ignores Lyson's attempt at friendship and leaves in a cab, but Lyson reveals he stole the flyer from her. The next day, Nancy visits the Sydney Opera House and tries to see the hypnotist, but the guards won't let her in. Lyson appears at the door, pretending Nancy is his girlfriend to get her inside. Nancy notices he stole a backstage pass, but an employee takes him away, thinking he's a worker. Nancy reaches the stage, where the hypnotist agrees to use her as a subject. Nancy is put to sleep and sees herself as a child in a hospital, revealing she is Lynn's daughter. She sees a man in the memory, but can't see his face. Suddenly, Andre's soldiers storm the stage, killing workers and causing the audience to panic. The general stabs the hypnotist and throws him into the seats. Cops arrive and open fire, but an officer is soon killed. A masked Lynn descends onto the stage, using fabric to bring down the soldiers. He loses his mask, and Lyson sees it from the control room. The general kicks Lynn, nearly knocking him off stage, so Lyson activates fireworks to hold her back. Lynn and the general fight again, both trying to grab Nancy, but neither succeed. Lynn uses the fabric to kick off the recovering soldiers, but the general fights him again, throwing him through a mirror while she takes Nancy. Soldiers come after Lynn, who uses stage props to defend himself. Lyson follows the general on the security cameras and guides Lynn, who knocks down the soldiers and rushes upstairs. He blocks the general's way, forcing her into another fight, causing her to let go of Nancy. Lyson seizes the chance to drag Nancy into the elevator and escape. Seeing his daughter safe, Lynn distracts the general and climbs to the roof. The general follows him, and they continue fighting. Lynn is pushed to the edge, but he kicks the general, causing them both to fall. She uses her daggers to hold on, but also cuts the cable Lynn is holding. Lynn tries to spin to stay on, but the general cuts the cable again, and he slides down the roof, landing on a patio umbrella. Lyson puts Nancy on a boat and turns it around to pick Lynn up. Moments later, Lynn takes them to his house, leaving Nancy on his bed before arresting Lyson. Lynn reveals a secret room under the stairs, handcuffs Lyson to an exercise machine. The movie ends. Thanks for watching.